Good morning, everyone. My name is Stefano Corradi, and I'm here to talk about this article that I wrote in collaboration with Vida Drazute from Kaunas University of Technology, Silvia Pepoloni and Giuseppe Di Capua from Istituto Nazionale di Geofisica e Vulcanologia. This article is called Geoethics and New Medias, Sharing Knowledge and Values, and it is about the relation between geoethics and science communication. More specifically, this article started from the consideration that scientific news on the web, especially in the geosciences, are lacking in quality and accuracy nowadays. We believe that in order to reverse this trend, it will be really important to include geoethics training in the higher education curricula for future geoscientists. During this presentation, I'll try to tell you what geoethics is about and why we believe it is important. But before going too deep into that, I'll spend some word on the structure of this presentation. First of all, in the first section of the presentation, I'll explain what is geoethics, especially since probably most of you is hearing about it for the first time in their life. The second part of the presentation will be devoted to explaining the current situation of the science communication sector and what geoethics can do about it. The third section will be devoted to the presentation of the digital skills that need to be taught to geoscientists who wants to become science communicators. The first section will explain how the teaching of these digital skills can be included within the wider framework of geoethics, and the fifth section will sum up what has already been said. But first of all, what is geoethics? According to Silvia Pepoloni and Giuseppe Di Capua, geoethics consists of research and reflection on those values upon which to base appropriate behavior and practices where human activities intersect with the geosphere. This is a rather wide definition, and I will say that two very important words resonate from it: behavior and practices. As you can understand from the name of it, it's about ethics, and more specifically about the ethical conduct of geoscientists. You need to know that geoethics starts from the consideration that the challenges that we are facing today, environmental challenges especially, like greenhouse gas emissions, water depletion, and soil over-consuming, they are quite wide and complex challenges that poses a lot of transformations in our society, and they especially change the role that geoscientists are going to play for their resolution. Thus, geoethics comes in this situation to investigate how geoscientists should behave in order to participate in the solution of these problems, how they can work, how they should carry out their practice in order to provide benefits to everyone. And this everyone can be covered by these four levels of responsibility. This everyone means that all the geoscientists have a responsibility towards themselves and their profession, towards the other colleagues, and these colleagues are not only other geoscientists but also other scientists like doctors, physicists, even people in other academic sectors. They have a responsibility towards the society, and in this case, since we are talking about science communication, they have a responsibility towards the general public in sharing accurate knowledge and useful knowledge too. But finally, they also have a responsibility towards the health system. They have a responsibility in safeguarding it, in protecting protecting it and bringing the people, the society, and everyone towards a path of sustainable growth. But since we're going to talk about science communication, our interest is mostly in the third level of responsibilities. So, moving on, we need to talk about the state of scientific news today. And technology plays a very important role in it. In fact, we can say that everything starts from the current diffusion of the internet. As you can see from this table, nowadays more than half of the population is currently using the internet. And this means that most of us is abandoning traditional newspapers, traditional media sources, and in order to look for news on the web. This has put a lot of pressure on newspapers. Two important events have participated into this pressure: the ever more increasing availability of Wi-Fi connection and web browsers on multiple devices. I'm talking about cell phones, I'm talking about tablets, even smartwatches. And the transition of internet population from passive user to active members. We all know that nowadays everyone can participate into the creation of online content. These two events, not only them, but these two in particular, have participated into this pressure on the newspapers, which now have to produce content way faster than before. And this has resulted into less professionalism, of which the phenomenon of web journalism is one of the most famous examples. Do you know what web journalism means? Journalism derives from the verb to churn, which means to masticate. And in web journalism refers to the let's say attitude, the preponderance of some online journals to copy and paste news from others' web sources and to create new content just by that. And this way of producing article is decreasing the quality of the content on the web, since they are generally not re-edited and they overcome scrutiny. Moreover, nowadays most of the content on the web is analyzed through algorithms and audience metric measures. In this way, when you look for content through Google or other websites, you will find the most clicked news, which is not a guarantee of finding quality news. And these are the general reasons why nowadays scientific news on the web are lacking in quality. But what is the role of geoethics in this? Well, in these circumstances, we need to put our attention to look at geoethics, geoethical values, to put at the center integrity, honesty, trustworthiness, accountability, accuracy, and impartiality in the transmission of knowledge. And this is why training in geoethics is important. For geoscientists who wants to engage with the general public, who wants to engage in science communication, they need to be aware of the proper behavior to respect their audiences. But if they need to compete with others on the web, they need to know the technical skills for that. And this section is devoted to presenting those skills that needs to be included in the teaching of geoethics. So, according to Van Dijk and Van Dersen, the digital skills can be divided in 6 categories: operational, formal, information, communication, content creation, and strategic. These 6 skills can be further divided into 2 categories: medium-related skills and content-related skills. Medium-related skills, or operational and formal skills, are not of interest to us because they generally refers to the so-called button knowledge, knowing how to turn on and off the computer, knowing how to use Word, knowing how to look for the browser, etc. Content related skills are the one we are most interested, but I will not talk about information skills, since they are generally referred to the passive use of the web, just like knowing how to look for the news, knowing what you're reading. Since we're talking about the perspective of science communication from the writer, we need to those skills that are most related to the active use of the web, so communication, content creation, and strategic skills, according to me at least, are the ones that should be included into a geoethics course that aims to provide digital communication skills for geoscientists. So, digital skills for science communication, these are the ones that I believe are very important: communication, content creation, strategic. Communication skills refers to the proper understanding, to the proper skills needed for online communication. One example I put here is the respect of netiquette. For instance, knowing that on an online chat you don't need to write in caps lock because you're shouting. This is a very basic example, but for instance, in our case, could be important knowing how long should be an article to be effective to the reader, how long should be a YouTube video, and these are very basic knowledge. These are very basic skills, but they represent the first step into building an effective online communication strategy. Content creation skills are more technical, and they refer to the writing, video recording, assembling of pictures, web design, audio recording, etc. The strategic skills are the most complex, and in general it refers to knowing how to set a plan, knowing what is your goal of your communication strategy. And in fact it goes in step. First of all, you set the goal. Second, you take the correct action. Thirdly, you make the right decision, and then you reach the goal and you gain the benefits from it. But how these skills can be included in the geoethics? Why actually they should be included in teaching of geoethics? Well, they merely provide the mean to the fulfillment of a larger objective, which is included in geoethics training. This objective is the transmission of valuable knowledge and ethical values to the people. It is in this circumstance that geoethics claims its role. It provides the wider framework of action for geoscientists to act ethically, together with the values that need to be transmitted with scientific knowledge. In this framework, teaching geoethics and higher education will provide the box in which put these technical skills. By learning the technical skills, geoscientists will know how to make their communication effective, but geoethics will provide them the guidance, the strategic goal for them. About this, you can find 2 interesting examples. The first of the 2 is the Gold Project. You can visit the website online, and Gold Project is about the creation of teaching resources for geoethics, and there are very interesting resources on the website, and they use different teaching methodologies. Another example can be found on the geoethics.org website, which is the website of the International Association for Promoting Geoethics. And on this website there are some videos that have been done by early career geoscientists, and by using storytelling they presented their job and why it is important to them. They are very interesting to me. Conclusions. Well, I'll just leave with this quote from our article. In the face of current multidisciplinary challenges, ethical values cannot be dismissed, since, together with scientific knowledge, they provide us a better understanding of our role and responsibility towards the planet. Training in digital skills is aimed at providing the adequate means to express and share such values, helping us overcome current and future challenges. This is the general goal of what we strive to, what we believe is important, why geoethics should be included in higher educational level. Thank you for listening.